What's good, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle with Nadeska, Wayno and Akademiks. I'm out here like sweating balls in my apartment right now. Ak is cooling in the new mansion. What's good with you guys?
Mansion. Hey, listen, I don't know why you don't turn the AC on. Like, yo, you getting paid out here? Turn the fucking AC on. What's the problem?
Haven't installed it yet. Hey, Ak, congratulations on the new crib.
Oh, that was just an Airbnb, man. For anybody who like, I won't be living there. No.
Very motivating academics.
No. I'm very happy about this. I'm trying to grow up low key. That's the move to grow up. I'm hoping it's gonna be for better growth and progress. Okay, but still, none of you niggas who be hating on me, don't try to find your way over there, please.
We'll start filming Everyday Struggle from Akademiks Mansion soon. Did you guys get a chance to watch the BET Awards last night?
I checked it out.
I looked at it briefly just because I wanted to see the format. Like, we're in COVID, so I'm used to award shows looking a certain type of way. Big auditorium, everybody right next to each other. Like, you've seen facial expressions. I wanted to see how it would go, and to be honest, I think BT did a good job of putting together and still trying to keep that feel. So I like that.
Yeah, some of the performances is really dope.
I could never watch a whole BT Awards. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't watched a whole BT Awards so long. Anytime, like, no disrespect, Alicia Keys gets on and starts doing a medley, I know it's time to switch the channel. No cap.
The performances were really nice, though. I wonder if moving forward they would ever consider having some pre-recorded things like that.
But it's more about the audience and reactions, though. I guess that's the thing, right? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And also, I think it was nicely done, but like when you see the live performances, I think it gives it a different type of feel. But again, we're in a different time right now, so you can't do that.
All right, we can run through some of the winners though. For album of the year, that one went to Roddy Ricch. Please excuse me for being antisocial, which I thought was really dope. For best group, the Migos won, but other nominees included people like Griselda, Earth Gang, City Girls, Chloe, and Holly. I know, Wayno, you felt that maybe that award didn't go to the right group.
Yeah, definitely didn't. I mean, me and Ak was going back and forth about like how the nominations was working last week, or a week or two ago, right? But seeing the Migos, like, and no disrespect to the Migos, but they ain't did nothing in a minute to win a BET award. I felt like Griselda, for them to be nominated for one, that was big, and for two, like, they have a lot of consistency. Like, they consistently putting out projects, they consistently putting out work, so it was just kind of weird to me that the Migos won. They've only dropped like 3 songs in the past like 6 to 8 months, so I was just kind of confused as to how they won.
Yeah, it almost feels like they got grandfathered into that nomination this year, because really in the last year the most notable things, and that's even if it's at that cutoff point, is the solo albums by the members. You know what I mean? They've tried and attempted a couple singles, but you know what I mean? Or it could be probably one of those makeup calls, but I don't think anybody else. Who else has won best rap group or best group in a while? At least at the BET Awards. I understand people who, especially seeing the progress of Griselda, said that they should have been acknowledged. Like City Girls, we haven't, like, this is a weird nomination list, because most of the people, you just nominated them just to say they got a nomination. They wasn't gonna win.
Well, you know what? I think like even with Earth Gang, I would have I wouldn't have been mad if I seen Earth Gang win, because they had a really good year between Revenge of the Dreamers dropping their project up until now. Like they had a really good year, so it's just like, I don't know, like that just was weird to me.
Yeah, they still would have been representing Atlanta too. Well, what about some of the other winners for best collaboration? Chris Brown featuring Drake, No Guidance. DaBaby won best male hip hop artist. Megan Thee Stallion won best female, and best new artist was also Roddy Ricch. Khaled with video of the year. Did you guys feel good about the rest of the winners?
Yeah, of course, Khaled. I was happy to see that. Seeing Nipsey win is always good. It's bittersweet. But then what was it before that? Oh, Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I felt like Megan Thee Stallion, like, that's well deserved. DaBaby, well deserved. Roddy Ricch, well deserved. Yeah, I didn't really have too many problems with the nominee.
No, I thought it was an absolute robbery that Khaled won.
On what part?
That Khaled won video of the year. That wasn't video of the year. Come on, man. Like, Drake and Chris Brown, No Guys, way better video. DaBaby Bop.
Your Life is Good was a better video than that too.
Yeah, that wasn't nominated. Like, again, I'm with you. Like, we do want to see, Nipsey at every, like, with the impact that we've seen from him. Like, of course, we want him to be acknowledged. I just feel like, giving Khaled the video of the year just because Nipsey's in it. Because let's keep it real, that's why I got the video of the year, right? I feel like it also kind of takes away from other people who did better videos. I think they did do like a whole tribute section to Nipsey in terms of like an award. There's many awards y'all could do that is outside of merit based. This wasn't a video of the year, so I think they made it up by giving them best collaborations for at least Chris Brown and Drake. But all in all, I think they kind of got it right. I have to say that Meg Thee Stallion is the best female hip hop artist, which then kind of I start looking at. I don't know if Cardi B won this a couple years ago, but this feels like a category that unless Nicki drops an album and just fucking hits a home run, which might actually happen, this is going to be a category where Meg is going to compete with Nicki, and let's see if Cardi could really kind of get back in the mix. So I thought that was an appropriate selection. Roddy Ricch, for him getting Best New Artist, pretty much like just Best Artist, period, and also Best Album, I thought that was appropriate too. So I think they pretty much got it right. It was only a couple categories I was like, could do better, but it's all good.
Yeah, I think overall, go ahead.
My fault. I just want to go on record to say that Meg is lived up to her hype.
You like her performance?
No, absolutely. Of course.
Not just the performance. I'm just saying as an artist. You know what I mean? Last year we was having a different discussion regarding Meg Thee Stallion about being top 3 in the ladies category, but she's lived up to her hype. That's all I'll say.
And see, I always get at, or not really get at artists. I always always critique when people start talking about an artist and they haven't gotten all the way there. If it was now we had that discussion, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be retarded to say not. But last year with, not as much body of work, I felt it was definitely a discussion. By the way, I just seen, I don't like this either. Best male hip hop artist, DaBaby. What the hell? Yo, come on, stop.
Mentioned that before.
What the hell?
Okay.
Listen, I love DaBaby, but
what?
Lil Baby. They gave the wrong baby.
Yeah, Lil Baby shit definitely. I think, but you know what? But at the same time, remember a lot of these awards are based off of last year leading into this year. So if I'm guessing, I'm just saying that they do it around June, the same time every year. It's probably from that time to that time. Lil Baby has been having his real run in the past 3 months.
Okay, all right, cool. I understand that. But shoot, I think that I think Roddy Ricch. Why do they keep throwing Travis Scott on everything? Like that,
we know how you feel about this.
It's like
already.
a sprinkle. Like why is Travis in this shit? Okay, no. I thought Roddy Ricch could have been really competitive. Maybe it's not that bad for the baby.
But he also got Best New Artist though, so maybe they just didn't feel like it made sense.
Now we're not even out awards no more. No.
Wait, who got Best New Artist?
Roddy.
Roddy.
Oh, yeah. And he got him. Yeah, he deserved that.
You could get Rookie of the Year and MVP. Like, if you're the best, you should get awarded all around. Okay, we're not just giving him this and giving that. That's the politics of award shows that always disgusted me. You know what I mean? Like, it robs you of certain things that you deserve, but it makes it up to you in other ways, which shows that it's all about trying to keep people happy, not just actually awarding the actual best people. But DaBaby did have a phenomenal year, so I won't take anything away from him.
Okay. Well, I think under the circumstances, they still did a really good job at the award show. Shout out to Amanda Seales. I enjoyed a lot of the performances, especially I think Anderson .Paak and J-Rock was probably my favorite one of the night. That was really dope.
That was dope. D Smoke and Sir as well. It was dope. I think they brought their mom out. That was pretty dope too. She sang, and Megan's performance was dope. That one had like the most production.
Yeah, the budgets opened up for that. It looked really, really good.
For real.
Meg had a great performance.
Mm-hmm. So Freddie Gibbs recently dropped a collab album with Alchemist called Alfredo, which is really good. So he's been doing some press. So recently he did an interview with the Bootleg Kev podcast, and Jeezy came up. So obviously he was signed with Jeezy before. Some things really didn't work out and they've had their differences in the past. But here he says that Jeezy is a legend, but goes on to say that he's irrelevant right now. He says, "You can't fight me, you can't out-rap me." And then the conversation continues from there. What do you guys think about this?
I understand that Freddie Gibbs is the type of petty that I am. You know what I mean? I could turn a conversation about Nav any single time. You know what I mean? Like, listen, that's how petty niggas do. I don't know his zodiac sign, but petty niggas do very petty things. And when he thought there was probably a moment, maybe not the best moment to take a shot at Jeezy, he of course brought up Jeezy. Now let's be very clear. Let's be very, very clear. If Jeezy is relevant, Freddie Gibbs, you're absolutely relevant as well. Okay.
You said you said Jeezy is irrelevant, Freddie Gibbs is irrelevant.
Yeah, like relevant to Freddie is what?
You're talking about. I
Because-
think we're speaking about recent albums.
Yeah,
Freddie
we
Gibbs
still
has been pretty active releasing albums recently. I wouldn't say any of those.
If Jeezy drop a album right now, he's selling 50,000.
Wait. All right, so look.
That's
selling.
what relevance.
See,
I look at relevance as
selling.
Are you talking about impact? Wait, no, we got to get clear with you first.
No,
we're talking
about
Impact,
numbers
because
again.
I always
Okay.
look at I look at numbers as well.
Okay. Let's look at all right, the number. Now wait a second, cuz like real quick for me to chime in on the whole Freddie Gibbs Jeezy shit. I do feel like Freddie, there is still some tension there, and I know what that feels like, when you never had no closure with certain shit. But if we talking about relevance as far as music, right? Now as far as music that impacts Freddie Gibbs is super relevant. So I don't get how you could say he's not relevant based on him not selling 50,000 the first week.
But if we're talking about relevant to somebody like Jeezy's, like in what demographic is like, first of all, the demographic that it's just hard for me to sit here and have anybody say that Freddie Gibbs is just way more relevant than Jeezy. Like,
well, I'm just but wait a second.
You're talking about historically speaking,
like
past
hold
couple
on, yo. If Freddie had said this argument and say, yo, I'm putting out better music right now, I wouldn't even bat an eye. You know what I mean? Like, people are enjoying the music that he's putting out.
Yeah.
Probably more, even way more than what Jeezy's putting out. If we look at just even the reaction and the reception. But when you relevancy is, we have to define that term. Relevancy means, is your music actually doing anything? And to be honest, whether we talking sales, other than the few people who fuck with Freddie Gibbs, what relevancy does he have?
The few people that fuck with Freddie Gibbs. I mean, listen, I don't.
Bro, he sold 20-something thousand. Like, we're not gonna act like he's selling 200.
But again, this is the problem. See, this is the problem with this number shit, right? This is the problem with this number shit. Now, I'm not gonna act like I don't love Young Jeezy as an artist. He got classics on classics on classics. But if we're having a debate based upon his recent music in comparison to Freddie Gibbs' recent music, the two don't measure up to each other. Jeezy dropped something this year. Did you know that, Akademiks? Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
what?
Was it this year or was it?
Okay, wait. It was last year, but I think was it mid-year? Hold on.
When was it?
It was August last year. So that was
August last year?
TM104. TM104.
No, he dropped the EP.
Was it? Did he?
He dropped the EP this year. All I'm saying is this is like, and then the way you worded it. Oh, the few people that fuck with Freddie Gibbs, bro. Just because he sold 20,000 something the first week, don't mean that he doesn't have a fucking fan base that super supports him and makes him less relevant. That don't make him any less relevant just because it's 20,000.
How could you say of an artist who, by the way, has he's had a
We're not taking none of that away. Nobody's
He's not talking
taking
about
none of
him
that
as
away.
a legend in the past. So at that, he's right. Wayno's right. He did drop an EP called 2020 Pyrex Vision, which I don't think we talked about on the show. It came out in March. Roger says debuted at number 115 on Billboard.
This is where I have a problem with where we get into this discussion, right? Like, he uses a word of relevancy, and I'm asking you how we quantify it.
It's a disrespectful word. It could be taken disrespectfully.
And that's why I think if he said, yo, we don't talk about Jeezy's music no more. But, you know what I mean? Like, okay, that's a very valid thing. Like, we're not just having these conversations about Jeezy's music is changing, whatever. But when I think about relevancy, I usually say who's hotter. And just, it'll never happen where Freddie Gibbs is a hotter artist than Jeezy. So I just don't know how, like, we could look at it.
All right, now how are we? See, that's the thing. Because I love Jeezy, I don't want to pit these two together, but now we're here, right? So if we're talking about hotter, right? We're talking about hotter. How do we determine that, Akademiks? Like, how do we determine who's hot? Because to say that Freddie Gibbs is not...
More people consume Jeezy's content.
Wait a second. Now Jeezy has a 15-something year career, right? He has a 15-something year career. Now, if we talking about who's hotter, I'm just comparing the raps. I'm comparing the music. If we talking about who's hotter, yeah, Freddie Gibbs hotter than Jeezy. If we talking about who's hotter. His music... you be on Twitter, right? Just because you don't listen to fucking Freddie Gibbs because y'all have your own little fucking spats or whatever, that means that he...
That's not what... Listen, I completely
I'm just asking. So
I'm only saying that, yeah, I see a lot of people loving his album. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't make him more relevant, though. It makes it that he's making better music. He's making music that is more to the conversation.
But being hot ain't about being relevant, though. Almost anybody could get hot. You ain't got to be, like, being hot ain't about being relevant.
Relevant, well, at least how I define relevant, is going to definitely, you have to be hot. Like, how the fuck you relevant when you cold as fuck?
But what do you count it as being hot? Like, people talking about the project, sharing it, getting good press, or you're talking about purely numbers?
That's what he's only talking about numbers.
I'm talking about if you think you're relevant, but you're only looking at your timeline of people who supposedly love it, but nobody bought it. How relevant could you really be?
How do you say nobody, though? What is nobody, bro?
25,000.
That's nobody. You were saying the same thing about. I don't want to compare them. I don't want to compare.
By the way, I might be off on this number. So
but let's say you did say 25, right? Last year, that's why I brought up Meg Thee Stallion when I said that she was the number 3 girl in the game right now. You said she only sold 30,000 the first week.
Yeah, no, we were handing her flowers way before her time, man.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't because this is the thing. This is the way I look at Freddie Gibbs, right? This is the way I look at Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs, and yeah, he had a moment where he flexed or whatever, but that's only because people counted him out. When that shit happened, when he got locked up for them 8 months and all that, people thought that he was finished. People thought that it was going to be over for him. He came back, and it's not just the first album that he's come back with and been relevant with. He's dropped a few albums that's been dope.
All right. And by the way, I'm pretty sure Freddie's going to see this and be in his feelings again. It's fine. But, I just try to be objective. By the way, I don't know if we're doing this topic. I hope you keep the same energy when we get to Trippie and Nicki. Okay. Because, again, like, that term of relevant or basically saying irrelevant is basically saying someone fell off. And and while that might be true of that owns artist's career if we compare them to themselves, when you are an artist that are still lesser than the artist you're talking about, it feels crazy that you're talking about that person.
But we know, all right, that's why I said we comparing like their most recent projects. I would never put Freddie Gibbs over Young Jeezy. I'm just saying that we're comparing their most recent projects is all I'm saying.
Freddie had a better project. But this
conversation,
if he had said that, I'll give him it. Yeah, all right, but talk your shit.
But I'm just saying, you know why he's talking the shit that he's talking.
I know. Shit. But I just really wish he had said, "Yo, listen, who actually be talking about a Jeezy project in 2020?" And then I could be like, "Nigga, kind of got a point." You feel me? But he starts using this thing because when I hear relevant, I start thinking of who's the bigger artist. And I still think Jeezy's the bigger artist even today. And by the way, also, which again, if you watch Jeezy recently, especially during, like, Freddie like me, so he petty, as I'm gonna keep saying. So, Jeezy's been really inspirational. Jeezy's been encouraging people that, he's promoted a lot of dumb shit too over the years. He's been trying to he's been using his platform to educate them like, I don't know if y'all knew y'all could vote, but y'all should do these things. He's been really, he's actually matured. We're watching Jeezy like mature in some of the messages he's sending out, and really trying to reverse. He admitted it. He said, my music and what I stood for a lot of years probably caused some of the deterioration of like our culture. And as much as I can during these times, try to, uplift those people and try to like send out positive messages, I am. So again, Jeezy's doing that.
Listen, we love Jeezy. We love Jeezy. I mean, but I just feel like they just never got their closure. That's why that shit is, the way it is. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, respect to both of them. I do like all the projects that Freddie Gibbs has been dropping recently. So what Ak was referencing just now with Nicki Minaj and Trippie is one of Trippie Redd's fans was hosting an IG live session, and then Trippie appears on camera for a few seconds just telling his friend that Nicki Minaj really fell off, then the live stream cuts off. Seemed like it could have been an accident, but it was probably intentional. So, your thoughts, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Akademiks. I want to hear, because you say you want me to keep the same energy. I want to know
right?
you.
Because...
All right.
Same with the Freddie Gibbs and Jeezy topic. This is a nuanced discussion. Mm-hmm. Did Nicki Minaj fall off? No. She just had... She was featured, or actually she had a number 1 song featured another one. There's nothing that would say she fell off. Also, the last time she dropped an album, even as crazy as number 2 was being, like, Queen actually performed really well. Actually, I was on record saying I liked that album. You get me? What she's also done really well on her features since then. So what would quantify her falling off, right? And by the way, we're gonna get to the reason why Trippie obviously said this, right?
Maybe we should just say the reason
No,
up front is that he has issues with 6ix9ine and they have a #1 record together. You should just put that out there.
He's saying it because she does a song with 6ix9ine, but even hinting at the fact that like they're basically saying Nicki's just a desperate artist. Are you kidding me? Like Trippie, like you'll never get to Nicki's level, and that's where I get with those comparisons. It's one thing, and by the way, if Trippie said this, I'll agree. That's what I'm gonna say with Freddie. If Trippie said, "Bro, are we really like is Nicki actually in the conversation when we be talking about rappers these days? Like, you know what I mean? And by the way, I still think she kind of is. I would understand a little bit more, but when you say it fell off and everything else says otherwise, and she's a way bigger artist than you look crazy. You don't agree with me?
Yeah, Trippie
was
tweaking. Trippie's definitely he's tweaking, but for me, regardless to anything, Nicki's still the best like she's still the best rapper out of all the bunches of women that you could possibly put in. It's arguable that she could out rap many. Yeah, I think Nicki's still a better rapper than Meg. Now, is Meg having her time? Yeah, like that's the thing. And I'm not taking nothing. I'm not gonna put Meg over Nicki or whatever. And I don't even want to put them against each other. None of that. But Meg is having her time. The time that Nicki was having eight or damn near 10 years ago, Meg is having that time right now. And I think we just gotta let her have her time. But as far as Nicki being relevant, I don't think that Nicki's irrelevant. Even with her doing the record with 6ix9ine. Now, I do feel like she's smart enough to attach herself to the heat of what's going on, but at the same time, I wouldn't call her irrelevant. I wouldn't say that she fell off. She didn't fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like even when her album came out, she still sold 100-something thousand in a time where people don't buy albums as much as they used to. You know, you gotta sell shirts to sell an album, so like she still sold it all off of music. So I'll never take that from
that's what I only care about the wording, right? Because I think what Trippie could have and should have said is that Nicki possibly tainted her legacy. You know, now again, when you see legends at I won't say Nicki's at the end of her career. I don't want to be disrespectful, but like let's just say legends 10, 15 years in the game, they're doing things that you might consider weird. You know, while that could be a sign of fall off, it doesn't seem to be for Nicki, but it seemed like it's tainting the legacy. Right? A lot of people look at it like that. So I think if he said that, I'd be like, I think a lot of people would have that opinion. But fall off, I feel like we could objectively kind of show that she's not falling off.
You know what I'm loving, Nadeska? You know what I'm really loving?
Me turn into a barber?
You know, when Big Zoo... No. When Big Zoo and, you know, and the Barbs and everybody was on Act Head, he was super disrespectful.
No.
As soon as Nicki gets with 6ix9ine to make a record, now it's all of this. Oh, you know, I don't want to be disrespectful. I ain't gonna.
No.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just making an observation. That's all.
See, now you're telling me I'm being too nice. Everybody knows the Barbs. They're a one-week bandits. They still are. You get me? Troll's about to have the biggest drop in history. Like, trust me, the Barbs get the smoke too. I'm just saying I've always been respectful of her talent. Okay. And right now, because I'm a numbers guy,
as we should.
Listen, I always could see and use try to use the numbers to kind of fit my narrative. If somebody fell off, I just feel right now, like she just got the first 2 number 2s of her life. It's hard to say someone who just did that fell off. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't pay that much attention to all that number shit. But what's the highest she's ever peaked?
Before so as a featured artist. She did Say So, and that went #1. I don't know what it was before then. I think she had a #2 record. But as her only song, I believe the highest peak was like Anaconda, which was like #6 or something like that. But then Trolls is technically her song, so that's #1. Again,
do you have a chalkboard wall? Are you going to have one at the new mansion where you write and erase numbers every week? You take this so seriously. It's really amazing. So let's talk more about numbers then. Akademiks, your favorite subject before we go. So Carl Chery, who's the creative director and head of urban music at Spotify, a friend of Everyday Struggle, expressed his thoughts on all of these bundlings that people count towards albums, saying Billboard should stop counting bundles. He says, too much trickery, let the music speak. Obviously, this was a big deal to Nicki when Travis bundled and outsold her. Khaled got upset about this recently, but I think with Trolls, they also sold merch, right? So, thoughts on Carl's statement?
I don't want to.
We know 6ix9ine was mad he didn't get playlisted and even called him out, which is a nice little shout out.
Which,
for Carl.
by the way, I think as everybody says, it's a moving the goalpost thing. Is like, if 6ix9ine can't get on the radio or get playlisted, so they sell 100,000 like shirts. Like, what is like? They're like, what's the problem? And why people wasn't mad at it when like Travis did it? So I guess some people look at it like that. I think some people even thought it was a Nicki shot. I saw Barb's was getting mad because the Barb's went hard in buying merch. All in all, in what I think about the Buns, I do think it's gotten out of hand. Again, I always mention Nav sold 10 times the amount of Velo and T-shirts as he sold his album. And when you think about music, at the end of the day, there has to be restrictions, right? I do think if you buy a shirt that's associated with a CD, fine. But when you're doing the most where you're attaching it to like luxury brands or these hype beast brands where someone might be buying the product that don't care about the music, or is it really about the music at that point? I like what Russ said. He said about tour tickets. He said,
he had a good perspective.
He said, if I could get a bunch of people to go fill an arena, why when they buy a tour ticket, if they're not buying the music, but they're going to show up for the tour, that doesn't count. I agree with Russ, but we also got to think about the finesses. Kenny Chesney, a country artist, he finessed that system. He put out a fake tour, and when he put out the tour, people bought tickets to the tour. They weren't buying the album as much before. He goes #1 over Drake. What happens 2 weeks later? Tour canceled. He know there wasn't going to be no damn tour. It's a finesse. You get me? So, like, we have to regulate it. I seen some people mention that. How about, well, my thought is, let's have a whole separate category for merch. Let's have a whole separate category that we could know what people are being sold. Like, for example, with Nicki and Trolls.
But if we have a whole separate category for merch, niggas don't really care about who sells the most T-shirts. You know what I mean? They care about who sells the most music. But now they associate the music with the shirts. But like, if we had a merch chart of people going #1 for selling the most hoodies, like that shit would be totally out of hand, bro. Like we'd be having all types of arguments and debates that don't need to be had in music. Period.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think you have to regulate it. I don't think you could completely eliminate it. For an artist like Russ, who his fans will buy stuff, and for even artists like Nicki, who again, which fans are really worth more to the music industry? A bunch of people who streams it, and by the way, Wayno said himself, streams could be faked, or people who put down hard-earned cash. So the people who put down hard-earned cash, shouldn't they be represented? And so that's what I'm saying. We just got to regulate it. Like, as long as they're buying, like, I think all merch design shouldn't just be like, oh, we just have a store, so it's on it. It can't be with like these other brands. It got to be about the album. It got to be about the song. You get me? And also, I don't know how this could be done, but like, you sell like, you can't be finessing the game like that. And by the way, the game has always been finesse, but this bundling thing is getting out of hand. Like,
this whole shit is weird. It's just really weird. I just be wanting to care about music, and it's like music is not about music anymore. You know what I mean?
I know. Now that Axe said that we should count merch separately, watch there really be a chart about who's selling the most merch.
I do hope. I ain't gonna lie. I do hope that Lil Baby ends up getting a #1 record with a Bigger Picture, only because it would show that that's purely about music. Purely about what's going on.
I think unless they're going hard for Rockstar. They just put out Rockstar merch. You get me? Like they're gonna keep that #1. You know what I mean? And Baby's having he's gonna get #1. I solemnly believe at some point. But I'm just saying, man, listen, I really don't want to expose some of the nasty tactics some of these artists are doing. Like, if you see these tactics, like, just think about this, right? Like, am I picking on Nav to tell me? He had 110.
Can you maybe you could just use another example? I'm sure he's not the only
Some
one.
artists have over 100 items you could That's like Macy's. That's like a convenience store. That's like a corner store. You're not even selling music at that point. They're selling keychains. They're selling masks. They're selling gloves. They're selling socks. They're selling mittens. They're selling hoodies. They're selling jackets. They're selling boots. They're selling
So then why was we debating about Trolls being #1 That's all 6ix9ine did, is have a whole fucking convenience store worth of merch that counted as
I
sales
think
for
that
his
was the
music.
point, Wayno. I think that was his point. He lost the number one with Gooba because people like there was bundles that came in at the last second for Ariana and Bieber. Like he said himself, he bought a number one in terms of he finessed the system. Just like what Nav did. And by the way, I don't think none of them is different. So don't think I'm like, oh, no. Nav, Travis Scott, 6ix9ine and Nicki, Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, they were not number one off music. They were number one off selling some clothes. That's a fact.
Okay, so back to this big debate about last week. So then all this talk about winning is just based on who finesses with the merch the best?
That's what it's been. And that's why Billboard got to change it. That's why people like...
So that was a whole episode of debating, and there was, you know what? All right, one more numbers topic very quickly before we go. Lil Baby saying that he feels like he should get 100K per feature. Should the number be higher than that at this point in his career?
I think 100 is great for him right now. I think 100. Listen, I don't know if everybody can afford that Lil Baby feature. So I think that him putting himself in that 100K a verse class, that means that his features is gonna go up too as far as the records, because there's only gonna be certain people that could get him.
If Lil Baby feature price wasn't 100,000, trust me, I'm copping it. What the fuck? Wait, like I think he just said this because it's higher and he wanted people. He's a humble king. He's not like, when Nicki hopped on, I think it was Monster, and it was like, it's 500K per verse, and everyone's wondering like, is she getting 500K? You know what I mean? Like I think Baby knows he's super hot, but he wanted people to just kind of like, oh, no way you're charging 100K. You know what I mean? Because truth be told, some hood niggas will fucking get that in a brown paper bag and pay for a Baby verse could be really life changing.
He's done it.
Yeah,
he's done a few of those. Like he's done a few of those.
If you ask me, and again, I don't have a barometer, but if I'll give you my scale if I was just pricing out people's verse. I think if you're gonna get a Drake verse, you'd be very hard pressed. Just say, I don't think he charges. I don't think he even cares.
Drake should
at
like
least $500,000.
Yeah, Drake should
at least
got
$500,000, right?
Drake should more than half.
Well, you gonna have to pay 200,000 Birdman, clear. I'm just saying. But still, if you look at certain art, so Drake like $1 million. Let's call it $1 million. Travis Scott, I feel like 300,000. I think even Cardi and Nicki's gonna be at least still 200, 250. Like those gonna have your record be in the top 40 wave possibly. Baby at this point, he is on such a hot streak that he got to be doing 200, bro. Come on, man. Like 200, man. Yo, he should be doing 200 occasion. Like for real.
Yeah. Occasion. All right, guys, that's it. I can't even allow you final thoughts.
Nah, you let us go today. You let us go.
Appreciate you. I know, it's a long episode. Thank you guys for watching Everyday Struggle. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Freddie about to tweet me, fuck you, Akademiks.